Hey everyone, good morning. This is the first time we are on YouTube Live, so I can't really say, good morning, you know, welcome to Facebook Live. It's not Facebook Live time, it's YouTube Live time. So go ahead and say something in the comments. The first thing I want to make sure is that I could see the chat. The chat is working just fine. I'm going to type something in so I could see that it's working on my end. Yes, you guys should be able to see me. Um, Sorry for the rough start. I was supposed to start at 9 a.m., but for some reason my brain thought it started at 10. For whatever reason, I've been doing these every single week on Tuesday, and I don't know why my brain got confused. Anywho, welcome. I posted the link in the group, the Facebook group, and I also emailed everybody. Kind of a late start, to be honest. So usually you'll get the link way ahead of time, not 10 minutes before. Okay. But nonetheless, here we are. And I wanted to chat about Etsy, a hot topic, right? Etsy shipping. It's been already the algorithm change, so-called, has been live for a week. And so I wanted to give you my thoughts, but I also want to go over something that I came to the conclusion of, which is that Etsy is no longer controllable. I'll discuss that, what that means shortly. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably know what I'm talking about. But 3 things I'm going to do differently. More about that in a second. I see everybody's comment. Good morning. It works great. Can everybody tell me your feedback already regarding the quality, regarding anything that you want to say about the setup as we get started, and of course as we continue with YouTube throughout this call, just to see if something has changed, or you're like, oh, I don't like this feature, I like this, etc. Okay. Yeah, Morgan says that you on YouTube you could actually pause this live, or if you join a little bit later, you can actually rewind a bit. Okay. I saw a few features of YouTube Live that I'm gonna play around with next week. So I'm gonna step up my game next week with the thumbnail and a few other things. But more importantly, we'll get to that tomorrow. Okay. Thanks, Emily. You look great. Thank you. I feel like the quality is a little bit different, but who knows? Okay, everybody's it's looking and working great. That's perfect. Let's get started. Okay. People are going to be joining in, and that's fine. But I sent the link out a little bit too late. I'm sorry. Like I emailed people a few minutes before. My bad. I just, for some reason, thought it started at 10. All right. Let's get started. So, looks like you could see our comments in real time too, which is awesome. Yeah, looks good. So, and we'll see more of the features as it goes along. Okay. So today's topic is regarding Etsy shipping changes, but not just Etsy shipping changes. It is changes in general to the Etsy platform. Okay. I'm going to talk about 3 things I'm going to be doing differently. I discussed it on my Instagram stories. I think I discussed it in somewhat detail, but I want to go over it more here, and what you could learn from it, what you could do differently yourself. But the Etsy shipping change is not the only changes that Etsy has went through. If you've been on Etsy for a while, you'll know that Etsy had its fair share of going through some algorithm changes or changes in general. And of course, change in general will make people upset. Nobody particularly likes change. There probably are some people, but change makes us feel uncomfortable. Some people welcome that because they know sometimes with the uncomfortableness comes really great things. If you keep doing the same thing over and over again, you probably won't get results or anything different. And so when change comes, usually it can lead to great things, but it still makes us nervous, especially when it's our business, right? And so if you've been on Etsy for, since 2015, 2016, you'll know that those were some good years. Maybe not for everybody, but people that were doing good then are no longer doing good. People that were doing okay are doing better. So not everybody's negatively affected by this change as well as other changes, okay? But nonetheless, it is clear that this online marketplace has made changes, will continue to make changes, and sometimes some sellers will benefit and sometimes they will not. Now, hear me out. If you're listening to this and go and saying, "Oh, I've been benefiting from free shipping even prior to the algorithm change," or this week has passed by and you're like, "I'm doing pretty good because of the algorithm change." I want to make something very clear. First of all, that's fantastic. Congrats. A week is a little too soon to tell, to be clear and certain that it is because of the algorithm change. But even if you continue to ride this wave of, hey, Etsy's taking care of me in the algorithm because I'm offering free shipping or the free shipping guarantee over 35, you may be the next victim the next time they make a change, meaning everything is good now. But what if they decide to change something else in a week, a month, half a year from today? That next change may not be in your favor. And so when I thought of that, because I'm doing fine, I'm not sure if I've seen an influx because of free shipping, but I'm doing fine at the moment. I just worry that, okay, what about the next change? What about the next change? What's going to happen? And I don't know what's going to happen. And so I decided that Etsy is no longer controllable. And technically, it shouldn't be. It's an online marketplace. They control it, we don't. Okay. But if you've been on Etsy for a while, you know that we were able to control pretty much. I mean, if you were a member of my Etsy SEO webinar back in the day, you knew that you could get to the top of search like not instant, but pretty much, right? Because it was easily, it was easy to manipulate. Now you can, but not as well or not as much, right? And so, because Etsy is no longer controllable as it used to be, we got to change our way of thinking. We got so spoiled with it because when you look at other online selling platforms, they're not as controllable as Etsy was. Thinking of Amazon, for example, and and but Etsy has trained us to believe that it was very easy to sell online and get found, etc. But now they're making it harder. Um, and so I decided that because, and then this should be the way anyway, but because it's no longer controllable, I'm going to take care of myself first. Okay. And I'll describe to you what I'm going to be doing differently in just a moment. Let me see my comments here. Ooh, hello. Okay. Good morning. 10 minutes before, if I was early. This is from an email to sell that the change will not be noticed until September and onwards. Good point, Paula. Then that could potentially can make sense. I'm not sure exactly why. I would like to see a copy of that email if you have it. Maybe you could post it later or send it to me later. But nonetheless, I know that if we continue to rely on Etsy alone to bring us traffic and make us money, it's not a good solid strategy. We know that. I like to diversify the way I bring traffic, the way I make money, everything. I like to diversify everything. And, I think it's just a smart thing to do. Now, when I say rely on Etsy, just to be clear, before I continue with my 3 things I'm going to do differently, I'm no way bashing SEO. Okay. That's what I'm talking about when you rely on Etsy. When you just rely on SEO and the traffic Etsy gives you, that's SEO. You guys know I love SEO. It is still going to be the number one thing I recommend for you to do, no matter what. It just is. It just is. Why? Because it's just smart, okay, while you're trying to build your business and make your business sustainable, okay, you want organic traffic to come to you. As organic traffic coming to you and you are making sales from it, you could work on other strategies that are more active or more passive. To help you bring in more diversifying your traffic sources, but SEO should be the main thing. Okay, so I'll make that very, very clear that we're not shying away from SEO just because Etsy is no longer controllable or Amazon is no longer controllable. We still do that, but don't just rely on that. Who here in the comments? You can't hit the like button here. I mean, you can, but it's not like a whole bunch of likes like Facebook. You can comment below. Who here just sells on Etsy? And type down below in the comments that you just sell on Etsy. I'm just curious as I continue, because I'll just go ahead and say it. That is a problem. If you are new to selling online, that's expected because you don't start out selling online 20 different platforms and 20 different things. But I will tell you that toward the end of this call, I will discuss what you could do if you are only selling on Etsy. So let's get started. What am I going to do differently? I had this epiphany when I was walking. I walk every day. And I was like, man, it's no longer controllable. I got to take care of myself because this epiphany happened way before the algorithm actually clicked on, even though Paula just mentioned that potentially we're not going to see results from it until September. But I was like, no, I'm not going to allow Etsy to control when I get traffic. That's ridiculous. Okay. I think it's great to rely on some of the traffic to come from Etsy, but what are you going to do as a business owner? And so after I finished walking, no, sorry, when I was walking, I have this little app on my phone. It's actually a widget. Okay. See that? You can't barely see. You see that yellow bar here? It's a post-it note on my main screen. And I type things in there when I'm not in the office. So then I can remember when I come in the office to transfer my notes to my planner or wherever. And I type down the few things I could work on, me personally, which I'm gonna share with you, that will help me more often than not rely on Etsy SEO. By the way, I don't just rely on Etsy SEO. I do have traffic other ways. And so I'm gonna make that clear. But for me, it was how do I even optimize what I'm doing even more? Okay. Hold on, my assistant sent me a message. Okay. So let's get started. The first thing I'm gonna do oh, people are commenting. Hello. Okay. What's up with my hair? All right. um Raymond says we to diversify between Etsy, website, Facebook, Instagram, email marketing. That's a lot of diversity, which I absolutely love. Are all of them effective for you? We'll talk about that in a moment. Some people do only sell on Etsy. I'm going to discuss what you guys can do toward the end of this call. I have my website and am at Amazon, but I fully focus on Etsy. I like to diversify. Absolutely. Good morning. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do differently, and it's really particular to me. The first thing I'm going to do differently is I'm going to get my little notes out here. If you've been around following me, you know that I'm no stranger to talking about email lists. Okay, I have an email list. It performs well for me. The keyword here is well, and because I know it's performing well, I need to leverage it to optimize it, leverage it, whatever you want to call it, to make it perform even better. Okay. And so, how am I going to optimize my email list? So, the first thing I want to tell you is that when I use my email list, this is how I roll. Okay, traditionally, I send an email a month, and within that month, I send the email, the main email, and then I send either the next day or the following day. I send a segmented email for people that didn't open the original, and that what that usually entails is that the subject line changes. Okay, something more eye catching, something more eye grabbing. Okay, because essentially it's potential. It's possible that Sally saw my email but didn't want to open it. Why? There's a few reasons why. It could be the usually the biggest culprit is the email subject. Okay, you guys should know this, and of course I go over it in my email list webinar. So that's what I do, and then I send a 3 days left email, and I send a 1 day left email. I have the most success with sales that last only 3 days or last 7 days. Okay, this is something I've learned over time. I also have success with emails that start on a certain day, okay, and end on a certain day. All right, depending on when my customers shop. So that is traditionally what I do with my email. So how would I be able to optimize it? Okay, and I wrote some notes down for myself. I haven't finalized my notes yet. And a lot of it's easier said than done because I have a lot on my plate. But the things I want to do, you ever heard of 10xing your strategy? I'm not going to send 10 times more emails. That's kind of crazy. But if you take what I'm doing, how do I 10x it? Well, first of all, part of that could be sending a few more emails in the month. I think me sending a few wrapped around one theme. Let's say I do a summer sale. It's one theme. That's that one email in the month, but I send it multiple times depending on segmenting and a few things. So I wrote down a few notes that I will probably send and spaced out nicely. I probably send another email. The few ideas that I have, I go over it much more detail in my email list webinar. But things that would work for my business more are new arrival emails, since I do happen to do a lot of new arrivals. Where's my? I wanted to check my handwritten notes, but it's out there. No big deal. Actually, should I get it? No, it's okay. I'll just tell you here what I remember. New arrival emails, potentially flash sales that last a very short period of time, a burst. free shipping potentially. There's a few things that I could work with besides my regular sale email that I do for my customers, which by the way do very well for me. But how am I able to send more emails out without bothering people? And again, this will be a test, of course, because I'm not usually sending multiple different emails for different reasons throughout the month. But I want to increase that, not by 10x, okay, but by a little bit. But then what about the rest of the 10x? What do I do within those emails to make sure that I optimize it even further? And so, in my email list webinar, I also discuss re-engagement strategies, which means, guys, imagine if 1,000 people on your email list and you consistently send, and only 200 people consistently open, a give or take. Over certain amount of months, you could segment your list to the people that never opened your email for the last 6 months. Okay, those people are just unengaged. So how do you re-engage them? There's a few strategies. One of the most common strategies is giving them an offer that they can't refuse. And here's the thinking behind that. The thinking behind giving them a strategy they can't offer that they can't refuse is that getting them back to buy from you. You would have lost them as a customer anyway. They haven't opened your email in 6+ months, right? So giving them offer they can't refuse will get them to open your email again, and of course buy from you, and then get them to trust you again, and get back into buying from you. Okay, especially if you're a product that should be purchased a little bit more often. If you're a product that doesn't get purchased as often, maybe your re-engagement strategy should not be checking emails that didn't open for the last 6 months, but maybe for the last year, okay, that didn't open. Nonetheless, I'm going to hop back into that. Okay. I usually don't do that. I usually just clean out my email list regularly, people that didn't open. And it is not because I don't believe in re-engagement emails. I just don't have the time. But I have to get back into that. And it's not because Etsy is making me fear for my life, my business life, but sometimes fear is a good thing. It makes you act on certain things. Okay. So that's one of the things I'm going to do for my emails to optimize. The other one was sending more emails, theme based or new arrivals or something of that sort, and not to be scared that I'm bothering my customers. Granted, I don't want to send, you know, um, you know, 5 within 2 weeks, or, something crazy, but I think I can up it a couple more times, okay? Especially because my customers respond fairly well to me. Um, and that works just fine, okay? So those are the few things that I have up my sleeve regarding email marketing. Now, one more thing I want to talk about before I move on to the second thing that I'll be doing differently is the actual email itself. And so I continuously work on optimizing the email itself, meaning if you receive my email and you open it, my e-commerce email, I try to optimize it in a way that makes people want to click and shop, okay? And sometimes when I do that, it takes a while to set up that email. And that's great. It takes a while, and I'm fine with that. But I need to continue to work on optimizing it so I could get a much higher click-through rate. And my open rates are pretty good, but how do I optimize my open rate? How do I continue to work on getting better subject lines? I go over that again in detail in the emails webinar, but I need to hop back on that, because while I'm doing the average minimum of what I need to do for my email list to make it perform well, I need to make it perform better. So going back into pretty much what I teach in the emails webinar and optimizing all of those things. Let me make sure my assistant didn't message me. She did. Hold on. You could save that. I'll get back to you on that. Okay. So let me see if there's any comments. Sorry. In the past, sales on Monday wasn't generating the most sales. Some businesses are so annoying with daily emails like Target and Justice. I think people tend to, when with Target and stuff like that, yeah, I think daily or even, every few days, it's too much. I agree with that. But because it's such a huge e-commerce company, they probably have a whole bunch of people on their email list. It doesn't really matter to them. And people that want to shop are usually shoppers that are shopping often, because I usually have sales often. That's not my business model. So I would definitely not email that often, Um, that's a great point. I think it's Linda, right? I read an article that says you should send at least one email a week for e-commerce. It's not just an article. There is some statistics behind that prove to do well. I don't think I'm gonna do one email a week. I think I'm gonna go slowly. I'm gonna go to 2 emails a month, 2 main emails a month, 'cause I still will do segmenting and see how that performs for me before I continue, okay? But I may use my segmenting more, engaging people that haven't opened, the last 2 emails, and then to what you said, continue to send them only, okay? To capture people that are not shopping with me, okay? Um, so anyway, so that's the first thing I'm gonna do. Hold on. And again, just in case you just joined, I'm talking about Etsy changing their algorithm often, and it's never going to stop. They're here to please their shareholders, and I don't blame them. But it could affect some people, and it's not affected me at the moment. But I'm very proactive. You guys know that I'm not going to wait until it affects me for me to do something. Okay, so that's why I'm readjusting. I'm not readjusting. I kind of am my goal plans for the year. I don't know if I'll be able to adjust what I'm saying very soon with the email list. I'm still sending one email a month with the sub emails with it each month, but hopefully I will be able to. In December, November, I send plenty, so that's neither here nor there. So will I be able to do this in August, September, and October? We'll see. If not, I'll definitely be a strategy for next year. The next tip I'm going to go over, I will be implementing and optimizing immediately. I'll discuss how in just a second, okay? So number 2, so again, we're doing this because I don't want to rely just on SEO. I think it's great to still implement SEO. It's important, guys. So just FYI. Hey guys, can you just tell me really quick, does this live video show you the description of a live video? Because I put links down below to some of my courses, but I just don't know how you could see it on your end. Does anybody see the description of this YouTube video? Let me know. Okay, let's move on. Let me know in the comments. Number 2, what I'm going to do differently. So it's not something I'm going to do differently per se, but I have to get back on it. Okay. Optimizing Pinterest. So a little background. I have set up Pinterest a while ago. And if you use my strategy, Pinterest could be a very automated process. After you set it up, it could literally work for you while you're sitting here doing other stuff, which is great. And that's what it's been doing for me. It's been working behind the scenes. In fact, I'm still getting sales from Pinterest. I don't know how I could show you, but I do. Take my word for it. I do still get sales from Pinterest, even though I stopped being active on it. I'll explain what that means in a second. I still get sales from it. I still get traffic from it, but granted, not as much. Now, what did I stop doing? Now, for the record, you guys know several months ago, I fired an assistant, and then a month or so later, I hired a new one. I trained her. Like, I was adding slowly things to her plate. Okay. And very soon I'm about to add Pinterest back on. What about Pinterest? Well, most of my process is automated, but the thing I recommend doing in my webinar, I talk about it, is for tribes on Tailwind, which is an app you connect to Pinterest, is pinning to tribes daily. And it literally literally, I'm not even kidding you, 5 minutes a day, less, okay? So you might say, Dad, why didn't you do that? It's just 5 minutes. I know. But I'm always prioritizing the things that need to be done first. Even though it's 5 minutes, we're always busy here. And so I put that in the back burner since Pinterest was still running on an automated schedule, pinning schedule each day. I still allowed for tribes not to be part of that. However, we're going back on it, and it just expands your reach, and it's a very engaging community of tribes. So that's number 1. We fell off the bandwagon for that. Still got views and orders and things like that because I still had the automated strategy going on as well as looping. Hold on a second. Okay, so we'll be getting back on it, meaning I'm going to reintroduce my new assistant, what to do each day in the morning. And that's what we did with my last assistant. She got in, she did the 5, she pinned a few things to the tribes, and that's it. Or sometimes she did it right after printing, so midday, okay? So we're going to get back on that. And then another thing that is particular to me and my strategy, so in my Pinterest webinar, I teach you about making pins that are more engaging, and I use templates, etc. And sometimes I encourage you to use multiple different templates to see what performs better, etc. For a while now, we've had different templates, and then eventually we got busy, and then eventually my assistant, I fired her, and so we never pinned my new templates, which I'm very, very proud of. So I will be having my new assistant pin those new templates because I feel like they'll probably engage Pinterest users better than my old ones. So we'll be changing them, pinning those as a part of my schedule, because every day I have X amount of pins being automated. And so I want to switch them out for the new photos that I have for these new templates. Okay. And I will be doing that soon with her. And so, again, the reason why is because I think they'll perform better than the old ones. And that's a huge strategy to do. But again, it's the fear in me, proactiveness, that I'm not going to rely on. First of all, I do rely on SEO traffic, but I'm going to act like it's not going to be there tomorrow. And then I'm going to be able to say, okay, what could I work on to bring traffic? And Pinterest is one of those things. Okay. And just for the record, if you're out there saying, oh, Pinterest doesn't bring me any views, or, well, that's silly. Of course it does. But, you're not using it right. If it doesn't bring me any sales, etc. There's a few different things you can look at to see why it's not doing that. But I'm a stationary seller. I'm just being honest. There's a lot of my members who use my Pinterest strategy, who do better than me. But why is that? I'm the mastermind, right? Because of the different market. It's not because I'm doing hard, I'm not doing as good as them. Maybe they're doing better than me and applying the strategy. Who knows? But reality is, because of Pinterest, there's some marketplaces that do better than others. And so it's normal that they would do better. And so I sell stationery, I sell thank you cards, I sell, what I sell, right? And so it's not expected to me to be blowing up on Pinterest. And I still make sales from it. Hold on a second. My battery's dying. Erica, can you give me my laptop charger, please? Thank you. So that's that. I'm also another thing I'm going to do with Pinterest to optimize it is up my daily amount of repins. Okay. My daily amount of repins that currently is at 40. I put 4, but it's 40. Hold on a second. Thank you. Let me just plug this in, guys, because I forgot, as usual, to bring my charger. Hello. Very soon I'll be upgrading my office, and I'll put a computer in here. I know it's fancy, so I never have to move my laptop back and forth and worry about it being plugged in. Anywho, so I currently have it at 40 a day, and I've increased slowly. And by the way, again, I go over this in my Pinterest webinar, but you should not just be pinning only your products, which is the 40 a day or however many a day. It should be mixed with other people's content. Okay. But anyway, I'm going to be upping it to 50 a day and hopefully 60 eventually. And then I noticed that when I did increase from, I think I started at 20 and then I went to 30, then I went to 40. I easily noticed an increase in views to my website. By the way, I pin my products from my website. You could do it to Etsy, you could do it to Amazon. It's up to you. But again, the point of this is to control my own traffic. I'm not going to bring it to a platform that I don't control. And there is some benefit to bringing it to Etsy and bringing it to Amazon. I prefer just to bring it to my .com, the one I own. Okay, so that's that. And the last thing I'm going to do to optimize my Pinterest strategy is update my looping schedule, not my schedule, the things I'm looping. So when the smart loop first came out on Tailwind, it's a looping feature. You're able to loop certain items and sometimes specific time frame in the year. So you could loop your holiday stuff only during the holiday time. Like, it's a really smart thing. I don't do anything that's relevant in time frame. I just loop all through the year. And when it first rolled out, I used it. I started looping my most popular pins that performed really well, which is the thing you should do, and a few more other things. But I'm going to go back in and just make sure that I've updated it to make sure that has all the newest popular pins. Okay. There's other ways you could use a smart loop feature. Again, I go over it in the webinar, but I'll mention it here. Is that you could use it to push new product. You could use it to, again, push relevant product during a certain time frame. So your holiday ornaments during the holiday season, and Mother's Day during Mother's Day. It's a really great way to use that in several different ways. So I'm going to be upping my game and updating my looping, my smart loop feature. Okay. Whew, let me see my comments here. Okay, the links are there. Cool. So I just don't see the description here. So I don't know what you see on your side. I see the title, not sure if it's an additional description. What's a tribe? Yeah, what's a tribe? Okay, so before I move on from the second strategy that I'll be optimizing, I'm talking about Pinterest, right? And so Pinterest is great, blah blah. You guys know Pinterest. There's an app called Tailwind, and Tailwind allows you to pair with Pinterest and automate the pinning process. It makes life of a business, you know, of a business owner easier when you're trying to use Pinterest for your business, okay? So you don't have to constantly be on Pinterest, okay? And so that's that. Now, there's a few other features within Tailwind. Besides the scheduling, which is the most common thing that you'd probably find in that, there's tribes and there's Smart Loop. Tribes is literally a tribe of people that are in a group that is a theme. So, for example, I joined tribes that have to do with party 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 planning because I sell invitations. I joined tribes that are themed around wedding decor because I sell wedding decor and stuff like that. And so you want to join tribes that match your product types, shop sections, if you will. So then you're able to pin your products to those particular tribes, as well as pin things from the tribe to your own board, which by the way is great because if I'm trying to find things to pin from other people's content, which you shouldn't just be pinning your stuff. It's already grouped for you in these tribes. It makes life so much easier. Okay. And again, I go over a very more particular strategy in my Pinterest webinar. And of course, people confirm that you can get the links in the description, wherever the description is here. I don't know where. I put all the links there. So Emma says, do you drive traffic to your Etsy shop or off Etsy? And your mailing list emails go, wait, I can't read. Do they go to off Etsy shop? Okay, I'm not sure if I'm reading that right, but I'll just tell you, I think you're asking. I drive traffic to my .com, always. Anywhere you look, it's always to my .com. My email list, my Pinterest, Google SEO obviously drives it to my .com. And that's that. So there's your answer. Why? Because of the reason of this YouTube Live. I want to call it Facebook Live, but it's not. Because while it is, I forgot what the phrase is, I am bringing traffic to my website to build my website for people to remember to go to my website when they want to buy something, and that's been working great. But my issue is the only con to that, just listen up, okay, guys? The only con to that is you're not so my repeat customers and my email list, they're coming to my .com instead of Etsy. And so if I brought those customers back to Etsy, my Etsy revenue would be double right now. And so I'm still growing, by the way, without this repeat traffic going to Etsy. Some people still go to Etsy, my repeat customers, but majority go to my .com because of my email and stuff like that. So my bad part here is that Etsy, to Etsy's eyes, algorithm eyes, it looks like that I'm not as active as I should be, or compared to my competitors who don't have a .com, who have a regular same percentage of repeat customer base. My repeat customers are going off of Etsy. And so that could be detrimental to my Etsy business because of Etsy algorithm. Of course, you guys know conversion rate and stuff like that. So, but I still refuse to do that. I want to bring it to my .com. My .com has had its moments. Last year was a great year. This year, I have to look at my numbers. I think it's doing good. I think the last month was a really slow month for me. I think it's my own fault, FYI. And I mentioned it to my members in my email list private group that I just been slacking on my email list due to a huge thing on projects that I'm working on. And that's why it's part of my list today of optimizing. Going back on it, I do really well with it when I'm really into it, okay? So let's get to the final thing that I'm doing. And then I'm going to go over what you could do on top of that. And also, if you only have Etsy, what's your next steps? Because some of you have already diversified. So you're like, okay, I have a little room to work with. But I want to make sure that I also take care of people that, either just didn't think of diversifying outside of Etsy, or they're just new to selling online. Of course, you don't expect to be new to selling online all of a sudden diversify It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So this last thing I'm going to talk about is very new. I've never talked about it before, but I thought when I was walking, I thought to myself, how else can I bring quality traffic? Either quality, or if it's not super quality, then passive traffic. So Pinterest, by the way, is not super quality traffic. It is somewhat, kind of. I mentioned before, conversion rates are usually lower with that traffic, but it's passive, so it just works on its own. The third thing I'll be doing differently, not differently, but new. The new thing I'm doing is blogging for my e-commerce business. What? I know. Hold on. Let me explain. So I thought about this for a while, so and bear with me. So first of all, you should know that content in general is king when it comes to the internet. We all agree? We all agree. Hit the like button if you agree. I don't know if you can hit the like button more than once here. But if you're watching this, hit the like button so I can see the number go up. So content is king on Google, okay? And especially, by the way, when I talk about blogging, I'm talking about on your website. You can't blog on Etsy. You can't blog on Amazon, right? And if you don't have a website, you can still blog, and I'll talk about linking and stuff like that. You can link to these outside products, Etsy, Amazon, etc. More importantly, you could always in the future change those links, like the URLs to those links in the future. You're like, oh, and now I have a website. You could go back in and edit them. Great. Okay. Now, the reason why I want to do blogging is because content is king on Google. You guys know I'm a big fan of SEO. You guys know I know how to do SEO. I could go on any platform, figure out SEO fairly quickly. I figured it out on YouTube. When I first started YouTube, I figured out it's really, in my opinion, YouTube's real easy to get to the top of search. Real easy. Okay. And so I'm doing it to draw in potential customers. Okay. I want to focus on blog posts that target buyers, not browsers. How do I do that? Well, write some notes down if you're interested in blogging potentially, and I'll describe to you how I'm going to do it. You want my crazy hectic schedule. Okay. You don't write blog posts that just are interesting, that relate to your niche or whatever. Think about the person that wants to buy your personalized mugs. Like, I mean, obviously it's easier when you have a brand, not just products, and there's a difference. But think about the person who wants to buy, these personalized mugs. Are they gift givers? Are they teachers? Are they moms? It depends on what you have on those mugs. Okay. Think about the person who wants to buy the personalized phone case. Think about the person who wants to buy stationery. What are they reading? I know this is a kind of crazy question because you're like, I don't know what they're reading. Think about it. Think about it. Ask somebody else. Ask somebody who actually buys your product. Could you ask customers? Yeah, that's kind of creepy. It's like, what are you reading? It's like, what do you mean, what am I reading? Why are you asking me that creepy question? Forget that, right? Ask friends and family. What are they reading? That kind of relates to the product. So if I ask my friend Lucy, because she's gotten some of my stationery before, I say, hey, what are you reading? She might be like, oh, I'm reading, 5 Ways to Improve Your Life in my Vogue magazine. No, that's irrelevant to my product type. But I may ask her instead, hey, Lucy, when it comes to my niche and my product type and my brand and all things related to stationery, what are you reading? She might tell me, Dahlia, I write thank you notes and I'm not really good at doing it. So I need ways to improve my handwriting. My handwriting sucks. That's me, by the way. I'm working on that. I'm working on my handwriting. Another thing she might tell me is, hey, and it relates to my product because I sell personalized stationery that you could write thank you notes on. Another thing that she might tell me is like, I don't actually know what to write in a thank you note. I felt very awkward because, the art is dying and I don't know what to write. And so that's another idea of what she would be reading, what to write on a thank you card, or how to write a thank you card. I sell party invites as well. So maybe a party planning checklist. Like she doesn't know, she has to make sure that she's covering everything. She wants to be a good host. And so that's another thing she'll be reading about related to my product type. So this is what and by the way, you don't have to ask somebody. You could think about that. You could brainstorm. You could ask the group. If you're my mastermind strategy, you could start a post. My mastermind strategy group, you can start a post and I will help you amongst other members get ideas for this. Okay. And so what happens then, let's just use me as an example because I sell my stuff, so I know what I'm talking about. If I wrote, 5 ways to improve your handwriting, right? or some, I mean, obviously you have to optimize your title for your blog post, which we don't cover, and I'm not going to cover here, but we optimize the title and all that stuff, and you optimize the content. But nonetheless, in that blog post, I've obviously am targeting people who write, and people that care to improve their handwriting, are people that, well, it can be a number of different people, but why they're trying to improve their handwriting is because of school notes. I'm not really targeting people with school notes. I kind of am. I still do sell some things that may relate to them, like notepads and notebooks and things like that. But people that also want to improve for their thank you cards. But also a more particular blog post is, 5 mistakes you're doing, and I'll obviously have to word this better. 5 mistakes you're doing when you're writing a thank you note. And so people who read that are writing thank you notes. It just makes sense. And so within this blog post, by the way, there's a few different things you could do. One, provide value. More, if you take anything away from blogging, anything, it's providing value. Okay. When you walk away from that blog post and you're done, did you provide value for that customer? And don't bullshit yourself. Like, did you not? And first of all, after you did, then there's ways to optimize it. Obviously having the blog on your website where people could shop is ideal. Having within the blog post, having links to your products and photos where applicable is ideal, and then linking back to the products. Having email list sign up is another thing you could do. And when you do email list sign up, by the way, here's a little thing you should note. You shouldn't hard sell them, meaning if they sign up for your email list, they should not be part of the same list that you're hard selling each month. Hard selling meaning 30% off, 20% off, like not the type of emails. When you get some people to sign up from a blog post, provide them value in other ways. Okay, through emails. Eventually, after X amount of time, you slowly start to soft sell them, and you slowly get them off that list and onto, which is an automated process you could do in your email list marketing app that you use. You slowly get them onto the hard sell list. Okay, you have to set that up to do that, because after the automated series, it could then kick them off that list and put them onto the hard sell list. And this might sound like foreign to you at the moment, but if you're using a email marketing app, there's capabilities of letting you do that. Okay. I use Aweber, so it does let me do that. So here's the thing. You're bringing quality traffic to your website. And by the way, this is for a website. By the way, it also helps Google ranking for your website. So I'm not just doing it to help people come and then buy from me. I'm helping Google show people like, look, Google, I'm providing quality content to people who really enjoy it. They're staying on the page, they're reading, etc. And so it's going to boost my relevancy for my entire website. And I do really pretty well on Google. There's a lot of algorithm factors in Google to help you be relevant, but why not boost it even more? Because I do fairly well on Google, so I want to do it even better. And on top of that, piggyback, like cherry on top, is get those potential customers to buy or introduce them to my brand. They might not buy on the first blog post read. Let's just be honest, right? They always saying that the people need 7 touch points or whatever before they buy, 6 touch points. But getting on your email list will help, and you could do a number of different things. You could put cookies in your website or something like that and retarget them through Facebook ads. I'm not going to do that. I'm not doing that. But there's different things you can do. Okay. And then, of course, taking those blog posts and then, intertwining with Pinterest, you can market them and pin them on Pinterest, which we know that content on Pinterest does way better than products on Pinterest. Okay. So that's really great. Fun note. A long time ago when we used to have Board Booster, do you guys remember that tool for Pinterest? Then it shut down earlier last year. I had Pinterest going on for my e-commerce and for Handmade Mastermind. Okay. When it stopped and then I got to Tailwind, I was like, okay, let me set up my Tailwind strategy first for my e-commerce, right? I love you guys, but I want to do e-commerce first. Till now, I still have not set up the Handmade Mastermind Pinterest strategy again. And guess what? I'm being found like crazy on Pinterest. Crazy because it's content. It's content for a Handmade Mastermind. So there's something to it. All right. And here's the thing, if you're out there saying, that sounds like a good idea, that all makes sense, but I don't have time for blogging. Nobody does. I don't even have time for blogging, okay? So I'll see how that's gonna roll out, but I am gonna do it. You don't have to blog consistently or whatever. It's important to focus on, it's giving you a number, 10 to 15 solid blog posts, solid, valuable. And it has to be, these solid blog posts don't have to be valuable, but they have to really focus on SEO, related niche topics. So while I can look for things in my niche, when I do SEO research, I'm not gonna do blog posts on the ones that get the least amount of search and the highest saturation, right? You see what I'm saying? So it's important to pick the best 10 to 15, create them. This might take, several weeks for you to create, get them up there, let SEO and Google do its thing, let Pinterest do its thing. They'll expand your reach very quickly. Okay. So, okay, hold on a second. What's funny is that I saw a spammy comment. You guys didn't see it because I have a little filter on to not see spammy comments. And I was able to delete the spammy comment, which I do like, because when you're on YouTube Live, I may have that. Okay. So Emily says, what platform do you use for your .com? Oof, that's another story. I'm going to give you a link. I use WordPress, but don't run off and get WordPress. Okay. I made a video on this, really important. And of course, because I know how to get to the top of search. I'm on the top of search for it in YouTube. I'll put the link down below. I use WordPress. I made a video. I put the link down below in the comments. It's called WordPress versus Shopify. And so before you decide that, oh, if she has WordPress, I'll get WordPress, don't. Listen to the video first and then make a decision. So that's that. Michelle said, so you said you're not driving traffic to Etsy, but you also said you are not only relying on Etsy SEO. I'm confused by that. Wouldn't you be getting SEO traffic for the Etsy then? Oh, so great question. I'm gonna clarify that. So when it comes to Etsy, I get only in Etsy, I get traffic through Etsy SEO. I get traffic through ads, Etsy ads, promoted listings. And then the few, like I get like outside sources. People shared me on a blog post that was out of my control, or somebody shared me on social media. Some people pinned my Etsy items. So that was natural. I didn't control that. So that's that. Okay. But when I say I'm not relying on Etsy traffic to bring traffic, I didn't mean I'm not relying on Etsy SEO to bring traffic to Etsy, but to bring traffic to my business. So I want to control my own traffic, and I'm bringing it to my .com. You're more than welcome to bring it to Etsy. You're more than welcome to bring it to Amazon, wherever. But I said earlier, the reason why is because I want to take care of myself. Yeah, I mean, I want to take care of myself. So, and so while I can't rely on Etsy SEO alone to bring traffic, it's by diversifying your traffic sources. I've always been diversifying my traffic sources. The reason for this, the three things I'm going to do differently, is because I'm going to optimize it even further. I don't want to slack on, I've been doing my email lists well. I've been doing my Pinterest well, blah, blah. I'm going to optimize it even further. So I'm not bringing that additional traffic to Etsy, though. That's my decision. You're more than welcome to. I hope that clears things up. I ask questions like that when I do give away my Facebook example. Yes. Okay. Yeah. And then of course on Facebook, it feels maybe better. It just depends on your market. I do email my email list once a year for feedback, and I give them a really nice discount code, and it's a few questions. That's it. So I wouldn't mind asking them in that, because it's fine and they don't have to open it. But I'm very connected with my customers. They know my name. It's not like a big brand like Target. You don't know who you're emailing when you talk to Target, right? So it's different. Joshua says, the other day I was in the shop, and when I came home, I felt really sick. And I figured I don't know what that means, Joshua. I don't know what that means. So is this for websites only or Etsy stores? I'm not sure what you're referring to, Miss Sparkles. Um, yeah, I figured. I figured Joshua was spam. Sometimes I'm scared to mark somebody as spam if I don't understand them, you know? Um, so if you're referring to your blog post, you could do a blog on its own and then direct your links to Etsy. But I prefer, you don't have to, but I prefer having a blog within your own website because then people could easily navigate to your e-commerce section. I think that's what you mean, Ms. Sparkles. Can you clarify? I would love to hear. All right. So while people are commenting below, let me go over a few more things with you guys. So these are the 3 things I'm going to do. What else can you do, right? Remember, the point of this YouTube live is that Etsy's making changes. I don't want you to be affected in a great deal when Etsy decides to do something different. We'll always be affected, okay? But me sitting back thinking, oh, they changed it. I may not be doing so hot with it, but I'm still okay because I have other things going on, is the way you should be, okay? I still am proactive about it. I'm like, how could I even optimize even further? Why I have diversified my sales channels, my traffic sources, my, all this stuff, I'm still going to even optimize it even further. And that's why I'm doing this this YouTube live. But what else can you do? So those are the 3 things I'm going to be doing differently. What else can you do? Let's say if you have no email list and you're like, okay, this, or you have no interest in a blog or whatever. Okay. What if you already optimized your, Pinterest strategy and it's doing well for you? Great. So it's all about controlling your traffic. It's all about you controlling your traffic, give or take. Okay. So, have you considered starting email list or really optimizing even further? Have you considered, oh, hi. Yes. I'm so happy. Okay. So this is good.
Flip this.
Not particularly, because we still have to cut it,
Okay.
but a few things. I want you to grab everything, shrink it up. Did you shrink it up already?
No.
Okay, shrink it up. So when we're able to cut, it looks even. The good thing about this is that it's a pattern, so you won't be able to tell if it's slightly off, in my opinion. Okay. Yeah, looks good. So do that, and then how much did you order?
20.
Okay. Do that, and I'm about to wrap this up soon, so wait till I get out for this one, but you can print that one out. Okay, thank you. So, so what was I saying? Yeah. So starting an email list, optimizing your email list, blogging. Blogging is a thing that I wouldn't ask you to do if you're only have an Etsy shop. Like the things you should be doing next should make sense. Okay. I'm at that point because I'm like, okay, what's next? But I've been doing all the right things, Pinterest, like things that makes sense in that order. You don't start with an Etsy shop and only Etsy and say, oh, I'm gonna do social media. And here's why. Social media is a very hard thing to master. It's a very tedious thing. And I'm not saying nobody could do that. I'm just saying for most of our skill set, it's a very difficult thing to master. And then with the return, it's hard. Okay. So do it in the most in priority order. Social media, obviously, if again, this is something that you should be considering. If you know what you're doing, if you want to figure out what you're doing, if you already have an engaged following, how do you optimize it even further? Okay. And then anything else besides SEO on that platform. So if you're trying to say like, Dahlia, I don't want to rely on just Amazon, like Amazon's doing well for me. Great. But what if they change something? When you think about getting traffic somewhere and you rely on SEO on that platform, what else can you do that doesn't rely on SEO on those online marketplaces? Okay. Or I did optimize SEO in all my areas, including my website. What am I going to rely on that doesn't have to do with SEO with those products? And that's why I mentioned blogging. Blogging is still SEO. You can get found other ways, but that's why I mentioned blogging. What else can you do to control your traffic? Either when you post or when you email or whatever. Okay. So here's the thing, guys, and there's many more things you could do. Those are the few things you should consider. But one thing that a few things I want to go over is if you are new to selling online and you only have Etsy, or even if you have more than just Etsy, like I have Etsy and I have a small Instagram following or whatever. What are the easiest things you could do? Well, advertising on the platforms you're on. And yes, granted, you are relying on the online marketplace, but when you're paying for it, it's different. Okay, it's different as opposed to letting the algorithm change you when it wants to. Granted, your bids may have to go higher if your competitors go higher. Okay, there's some little less control in that, but Etsy ads, Amazon ads. Okay, if you're new to selling online, Pinterest is another thing. It's an automated process. Well, it didn't start out automated, but you can make it automated. That will help you. Okay, get your feet wet, right? That's a saying. And then last but not least, especially if you're only on Etsy, get on Amazon. I don't want to hear anybody in the comments tell me that they're scared of Amazon. Okay, if you're scared of Amazon, then okay, eventually get over it. I'm not gonna tell you shouldn't be selling online because we all are scared of Amazon at one point, right? Maybe not, but get on Amazon. Get Amazon handmade, get on Amazon regular, get on Amazon custom. Any way you can get on Amazon, okay? Somebody messaged me the other day, or sorry, posted the other day, and they were worried that if they get on Amazon, not going to do as well because of saturation, blah, blah. You know what? That's possible, by the way, but we'll never know. And you may say, Dahlia, well, I tried it for several months and I'm only making $500 or $1,000. First of all, we can always optimize things even further, but nonetheless, it's $1,000 more bucks than you would have made. Okay. And why not? Are you going to scoff at $1,000 or $500 or $3,000, depending on what's considered low for you? No, I wouldn't, because it's diversifying and you never know what that platform builds up to. Okay. There's a lot of other online selling marketplaces. We do know that Etsy and Amazon are the most popular, but there are many others depending on what you sell. Okay. There really is. Let's see here. So I came late to the chat. I have an Etsy shop, which is doing okay, but I could do better. Any ideas? Instagram, perhaps? Nope. If you're like, oh, I'm kind of like Rocky on my Etsy shop, don't do Instagram. It's a very hard thing to master. I recommend getting into Etsy ads. Okay. If you're not, first of all, I mentioned earlier that Etsy SEO should be the base, the foundation. Okay. And if you're not doing well with that, I'd recommend the Etsy SEO webinar. It's in the link in the description. Okay. That's where I would start if you're not doing good with SEO. Then Etsy promoted listings. Okay. Then again, I'm trying to do it in the most priority order, getting onto Amazon, diversifying your sales channels. Okay. So a little off subject here, but I signed up for Amazon like 4 months ago and still haven't added products because I'm worried about it. Should I take the jump and do it? The answer is yes, Amanda. I think we all could say that for you. Here's what I told another member who was scared crazy to go on Amazon for whatever reason. I said, post one item. Post one item. That's not a big deal, is it? What's so scary about posting one item? It might take you a hot minute to figure things out. Amanda, I feel like I recognize your name, so I feel like, and I could be wrong. Do you have my Amazon webinar? If you do, then use it. If you don't, I would recommend it. So I would recommend getting one item up so you could, because most people are scared of Amazon, particularly for the difference in listing. Okay, so okay, I just joined a little late today. I quoted an order for a client, told her the shipping would be additional as she wanted a discount from my pricing. She said, but Etsy pays for shipping over $35. Oh, that's hilarious. I don't know why she thinks that. What did customers see? I don't know. Maybe they made an announcement to customers that a lot of shops have now free shipping over $35. I don't know. Scott makes a good point. I've never fully articulated. Etsy CEO prioritizes buyer return frequency. That absolutely makes sense. Okay. I'm not saying I don't. I just happen to bring I get my email list and all this stuff to come back to my .com. And yeah, that is not in my favor when it comes to Etsy. But I'm hoping the other algorithm factors will help me out, which it has been. I've been doing fine on Etsy. I'm up. It depends on the month. 20 to 30%. I'm fine with that. You know. Oh, Aaron, the webinar of Amazon is not in the description because I don't know why. Let me get it for you. I've got the link. So anyway, there it is. I just put the link of the Amazon webinar. Sorry, I'm just like new to this doing YouTube live thing, so I forgot one. It's okay. I didn't think it was gonna be relevant, but so the company may be pivoting. Be careful. What do you mean, Scott? Are you telling me to be careful? Are you telling everybody to be careful? Because that's the point of my YouTube live is, hey guys, changes are happening. Changes keep happening. And so by the way, you again, like I mentioned earlier, you may be part of the really good wave of the change, and it may affect you positively. That's great, but don't expect the next change may work in your favor. Okay, a business should be able to sustain itself even without relying on something. We rely on customers, obviously, but we always rely on something or another. Like if Pinterest closes down tomorrow, I'm screwed, right? There's a few different things I rely on, but because I diversified, it lowers the risk. And so, yeah, if something happens, I might lose those traffic source and I might decrease a little bit in sales, but I'm still okay. Like I've diversified so much, it happens, you know? You're welcome. You're welcome. Um, so that's it, guys. I just want to go over that. I feel like I mentioned that Etsy is no longer controllable, but for good reason. They're trying to, well, yeah, this is up for discussion, debate. You know, trying to please its shareholders, and I understand that. And you know, most other selling platforms are not as controllable, but we just got so used to Etsy being a certain way that is changing on us dramatically compared to other selling platforms. That's what's bothering us. And so, you know, it got us so used to it that we're like up in arms. But the reality is we should be very proactive and, you know, change what we need to change, you know, diversify, we need to diversify, like continue working on strategies. I know some of you, by the way, are so busy with your Etsy shop that you don't have time to do other things. That's where the problem lies. You know, you have to be more efficient. You have to prioritize certain things that you shouldn't be doing and work on things you should be doing. You know, I have a team of people, and a lot of times I don't work on the low level stuff. They do it. Well, I work on the high level stuff. And even then, I try to have only them working on the high level stuff. Sometimes my kids pitch in and they work on the low level stuff, like repack, you know, re-putting up shipping stuff and small things, you know. And so we're always working on things that will move us forward. You know, not small things. I only work on small things if I need a break from my work. I'm just like, let me just do this for a while, you know, or something like that. Hey, is Google Ads a good idea? I'll leave with this last question. You know, there's two ways to answer this. It's a way to bring in. So I think you're talking about Google Ads on Etsy. It's a way to bring in traffic. So if it works for you, it's great. Okay, that's one. That is one, you know, way to think. The other way to think is I'm not paying for outside traffic to come to my Etsy. If I'm going to pay for outside traffic, I want to get them to go to my .com. However, the only problem is, you know, Etsy makes it easier to use Google Ads. If you're trying to use Google Ads on your own to bring to your website, it's a more difficult process. And it's not really difficult. It's much more difficult to get conversions on there because a lot more entailed to actually get conversion, a lot more strategy behind it. So that's that. Now, if you tried it for your Etsy shop and it doesn't work, then it's not a good idea because it didn't work for me. I hate that there's not much, like they haven't optimized the Google ad experience for Etsy. It's so, I can't change each listing bid price. Like there's a few things I can't do, and it doesn't give me much control, and it didn't perform well in the limited time I had it up. Once I limited time, I mean several months, and I'm like, nope, it performed horribly. And so I'm like, nope, I'm not doing it. And, you know, it's not like I'm going to be doing Google ads for my website anytime soon, eventually, but it didn't work for me. If it did work for me, if it did give me really good return, I wouldn't mind. Even though I'd rather pay for outside traffic to come to my .com, but until I figure out Google ads on its own, then I'll do it. But again, it didn't perform well for me, so I'm not doing it. I canceled it. All right, guys. So while I wrap this up, tell me down below in the live chat, what do you think about the first YouTube live? I think it went really well. I have a few things I'll be doing next week that's a little different in terms of warning you, you know what I'm saying, like giving you a heads up that I'm coming on. emailing you a little bit earlier, just a little bit earlier because I did it like 5 minutes prior. Having a nicer thumbnail, just a few different things. So what do you think? Is this a fine idea? Are you guys okay with it? I noticed that a huge number of people joined during this call. I think it was around 80 something, being at the highest peak, and really around the 60s and 70s being at the normal ups and downs. I think that's great. I think because I was also able to email people the link. That worked out in my favor. I'm going to try something really quick before I let you guys go. It's just a little test. I see a little $ button. Oh, it says insert ad. Do you guys mind hanging out for a second while I insert an ad and see if it shows you an ad? So if it does, then hang tight and let me know what you thought of that. Usually the ad monetization for these can happen after the fact, meaning if you're not watching it live, which I think you guys expect. But I want to see what happens if I insert ad. Let me insert it now really quick and I'll read your things. Hold on. Okay, it says ad inserted. Do you guys still see me? Do you see me waving? If so, comment down below. Because I don't know when it's going to insert the ad. Is it going to insert the ad after the live is done? Maybe on the replay. Yes, no ad. Okay. So wow, this is a real time. I love that. Okay. Thanks, Aaron. It's a good idea. Perfect. Amazon or Handmade at Amazon. If you can go on Handmade, go on Handmade. I love the listing process better. It gives a little bit more room for SEO. But if you can get accepted to Handmade, Amazon regular is just fine. Trust. Please do more. It's great. Awesome. Yeah, I do this every Tuesday, but now I'll be doing it on YouTube Live. I'm gonna work out a few different things. I think the quality of the camera is really fantastic. So I'm very happy with that. I was going to use my other camera, but this works out fine. But we'll see. We'll see. Oh, some people see an ad. Let's see. Don't do that again. Is that Linda? I see an ad. I had an ad go over your video. Okay, so you saw an ad. So some people saw it, some people didn't. That's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, I think with ads, it's not everybody that's going to get one. Similar to the YouTube algorithm when you monetize videos after the fact, if I place ads in it, not every single person will see the ads. So that's interesting. Okay, cool. I mean, I don't plan on hitting insert ad. I don't see the need unless it's helpful. It only lasts 10 seconds or something. But more than likely, the ads will be if you're watching this when it's not live. Okay. So, all right, I see the ad. All right. What was the ad, by the way, guys? Can you tell me? We're already done with this YouTube Live, but I'm just interested down below. What was the ad? I wonder if it was something relevant to what I'm talking about or anything like that. Let me know. And we're about to wrap this up. And that's it. I'm very excited about trying this. I was a little nervous when I first started, but I was like, wait a minute, this is just like a regular YouTube Live, but on a Facebook Live, but on YouTube. So no big deal. I just know that if I want to put a regular thumbnail, not just me going like this, then I have to do it in a different way. I have to use a streaming software. Nothing to do with you guys. You don't have to worry about that, but I have to see. You could click skip the ad. That's cool. Okay, cool. All right, guys. I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you for joining. What is this? A little happy face emoji. Oh, I could put an emoji. What is this, a $? Show your support for Dahlia. You could pay me. You don't have to pay me. But I'm just looking at these little features. All right, cool. Anyway, guys, I'll let you guys go. Thank you for joining me. I'll keep you updated before Tuesday coming up next week, but most likely it'll be on YouTube Live. Again, we're trying it out. I'm not saying this is officially moving over, but it's looking good. But I will be better next week and make sure I'm on time and also giving you the link prior to it. And people did say that they want it not too early, the link, but I will be emailing the link a little bit earlier. I give you guys like 5 minutes and sometimes the email won't come through to you, but posting it in the group 10 minutes is absolutely fine. And that's it. Okay, guys, have a great day. If you just joined, make sure you watch this, and I will see you next week. Bye. How do I end this? Oh, there you are.